Hello. Okay, that's better. How we doing, guys? So today is October 8th, 2014. You are tuned into another episode of Proz Crypto Talk Hour. We're tweeting live right now. If you guys want to tweet at us on Twitter, CryptoVVN on Twitter. Some cool stuff took place in the past week, guys. In the world of cryptocurrency, we've got some cool things happening. Um, I have my peppermint tea right here, which I'm gonna enjoy. So that's cool. Um, Bitcoin prices are up again. They're back up. So we were looking. We actually hit as low as 275 price wise. Back not too long ago, on the 3rd or 4th. So it's like 4 or 5 days ago. Now Bitcoin went from 275 a few days ago up to about 355, 360 right now, which is good, relatively speaking. However, we saw 650, 660 or so in July, and that was when it looked like Bitcoin was trying to rally back. We had seen, actually, I think we touched almost 700 in the end of May, and then we had 600s in July. We had 650 in July, and Bitcoin had been as low as 426 or so in the beginning of May. Went from 440 to 674 in about 2.5 weeks from May to June. So that's kind of stuff Bitcoin has done. Now Bitcoin is down at the same type of repeat of its pattern, where it hit at 335, 330. Hold on a second. I get really dry mouth. I don't know if it's just from talking or what, but I don't want to suggest that this is ever investment advice or anything like that, but it's just my own opinion, what I'm saying. I wish I even had more money in the game so I could tell you guys this is what I'm doing or not. So just take this very lightly. Maybe one day when I have some success from trading. I mean, I've made some money trading, but it's all going towards paying the bills. But yeah, if I had a little bit of fiat on the sidelines right now, I would probably throw it into Bitcoin, because I thought that if it didn't hit resistance where it did around 300 or 275, 300, I was thinking it might double down and go back to 180, 200 before this entire run up. And then I thought it would stabilize because people can quantify it better if it's 100, 200 bucks. It doesn't matter what Bitcoin's ultimately worth, because you can make money in the crypto environment, and that's what we're going to talk about a little bit the rest of the time we have here with today's little chit chat. So if you look at the pattern that Bitcoin went through from about January or so of this year to May, it almost looks like a repeat of the pattern we had from about June until October. And what happened right after the end of that pattern is, like I said, that jump in price. Will that happen now with Bitcoin? Who knows? Honestly, I don't know that patterns are really what will guide price. I think there's a lot of actual natural market forces at play here, supply and demand, and it's really simple. I mean, for those who are jumping into this and aren't too familiar with Bitcoin and how these things work, you're going to have usually a very finite supply of coins in an asset, in a type of crypto asset or token. When those coins are distributed or created or released onto the free market, into the internet, into the web, they have some sort of marginal utility value, either to grant access to a application or just for ownership stake in a type of project. But we've seen this come a long way just in the past 6 months. If you had talked to me back in February or March of this year, of 2014, I would be telling you that you want to look at Bitcoin. You want to look at, I guess I would probably say, I would like to say that I would say Next and Ethereum and Mastercoin and Counterparty. Those are the things that were interesting 6 months ago, and they still are interesting now. And there's all these other things being built on top of these platforms. These are what are called Bitcoin 2.0 protocols. More tea, hold on. It's good tea. Do a little stevia in the tea. I use this Pure Via stuff right now. It's on sale. So I got fucking 80 packets for $3 at CVS. It's a lot better for your adrenal glands, so you don't wear them out. If you're ever chased by something, you want to get actual adrenaline. You don't want to be all burnt out because you eat too much sugar and drink too much caffeine. So peppermint tea has no caffeine in it. It's not from a tea leaf, actually. It's from peppermint leaf. But it tastes very good, actually, and with a little stevia and sometimes some almond milk and cinnamon, which are all sugar-free, healthy things to do. It's a good alternative to coffee. So anyway, back on the crypto. Overstock. Patrick Byrne. This is cool. Patrick Byrne is the CEO of Overstock.com. He's come out in the past in favor of Bitcoin, in support of Bitcoin. This is going back to around holiday time of last year in the 2013 winter, where Patrick basically said he's interested in accepting Bitcoin on Overstock.com. And prior to this announcement, there were not very many retailers that were taking Bitcoin, period. And there still aren't relative. I mean, if you think about it in a sense, you can't go into yet, and I think by the end of 2015 this will have changed, but you can't right now go into Lowe's or Publix or 7-Eleven or Wawa and just check out with Bitcoin, and scan a QR code and buy your gas or your groceries. But this is really, really rapidly changing. So anyway, Patrick Byrne, he was one of the first to get behind this, and he's a libertarian type individual as well. More tea, hold on. So Patrick Byrne opened the floodgates a little bit by accepting Bitcoin on Overstock.com. Flashback about 6-7 weeks ago from this recording, so let's say sometime in the beginning of July, mid-July, he said we're going to be accepting Bitcoin internationally, and then it happened not long after that. He started accepting it internationally on all the websites. Now what Patrick is going to be doing, and I'm going to see if I can pull up something possibly to read from a little bit, but what he's doing now in his plan is to, sorry, I'm like cleaning my eye a lot, but hopefully you guys are more listening to the audio of this thing and doing other work. But he wants to basically give a percentage of his company to be sold on a cryptocurrency token. It's looking like it's going to be Counterparty. It's looking like he's going to use the Counterparty protocol, which is the Bitcoin 2.0 protocol. It looks like he will be using that to host the asset, and he also wants to open that up to other companies. So he's going to kind of lay the groundwork of how to, as a modern, technical, regular kind of company, how you would get out there and issue shares of your company on the blockchain. So he's going to be the forerunner of that and try to blaze that terrain a little bit, so to speak. And in so doing, he wants to actually create kind of a platform to where he can allow other companies to IPO or launch their asset on his exchange, I guess like a Overstock exchange. So I think he's a genius. I think he's getting out way in front of this, and that's what I constantly try to do. For those of you who don't know, in my audience, I'm an internet marketing individual. I do websites, social media. I'm very experienced in WordPress. For those of you who don't know what those things are, who don't think those things are important, you're probably not in my target demographic. Those of you who think they're important, they think you have it handled, and you have your Facebook forwarding to your Twitter and your Instagram forwarding to your Facebook to your Twitter, and you think you have it covered, you're leaving a lot of business on the table. You're offending people. You're losing people that could be in your target demographic by spamming rather than actually reaching and communicating. So, little plug for Future Media Management. If you go to futuremediamanagement.com or futuremediamgmt.com, that's the website for my company. And we are always looking to have new conversations with interesting people who are starting projects, who are working within a company, within an organization, who own businesses, who are freelancers, who are artists, who are musicians, painters. It could be a lot of things. It could be a lot of things. You could be an academic, a scholarly type of person. You're trying to publicize some of your theories, or get recognition through social media for some study that you've done or some belief that you have. I'd love to consider anything that anybody has. I do enjoy that. One of the projects I'm working on right now that I am enjoying quite thoroughly is something called GEMS. When I discovered Bitcoin and immediately started learning everything I could learn about cryptocurrency, one of the things I did was listen to a lot of Andreas Antonopoulos and listen to some of I'm sorry, cracking my back. Some people who I consider to be some of the geniuses in cryptocurrency, who really saw ahead, down the road. So what they were saying at the time, and this is going back almost a year ago now, to the fall of 2013, when I had been following crypto since 2011 a little bit, but it just wasn't much to follow. It was just a little hobbyist thing, and the libertarians kind of clung on to it. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, could have bought a lot of Bitcoins when they were at $2. I was aware of them. I was aware of them when they were under $1. I was like, well, whatever, man. You can spend your money on a lot of things. Even if I had a few grand not burning a hole, but sit in my bank account. Obviously, that money, I wasn't ever wealthy. So, anyone who is wealthy right now, you could talk to me. I'd love to help. We could kind of be partners or something like that. I can help you figure out how to invest. But aside from that, I actually know people who professionally do that. If you have a sizable budget, I can refer you to some people who I won't mention their name here because I don't want it to look like a plug. But if you do PM me or message me on Twitter, CryptoVPN, I know some investment advisors in the crypto space that can help you find some opportunities in that way. And like I said, I will be consulting myself, and I think I have a pretty strong grip on this. So one of the projects I'm looking at, and one of the clients that I'm working with as well, is a group called GEMS. If you go to www.getgems.org, I'll give you guys a second to go to that and catch up to me here. Hold on. You will see that they bill themselves as the first social currency network. We did speak on this last week as well. I'm just going to touch on it as much as I can because I really support it. I am helping out behind the scenes a little bit with the team in marketing this project as well. But this is where the rubber meets the road for Bitcoin, to beat a cliche a little bit. We can geek out on something like Bitcoin and enjoy it from a technical aspect and say how revolutionary it is or how exciting it can be, what it means for currency, what it means for doing business and contracts. There's a lot of upside for Bitcoin. What a lot of people don't realize is that there's a lot more power behind this thing. So let me give you guys a quick 5-minute breakdown on what GEMS can be and what it means. And if you go to, like I said, getgems.org, or if you go on Facebook, I will tell you how to give you the exact link to the GEMS page there too. I'm a little new to this, guys, all the links and everything, but the basic idea of this is if anybody's ever used WhatsApp or even Facebook Messenger, or even just a text messenger, period. Hopefully you've used more than just a text messenger on your phone, but even if you just use that, you get how messaging works these days. You can send text, you can send little emojis, you can send video sometimes, you can send audio, which is in a lot of these newer messaging apps. You can send a little audio clip to someone instead of having to text out a message. You can just hit record real quick and go, hey, I'm running late, I'll be right there in 2 minutes, save me a seat, send. That's so much easier while you're driving than stopping to click something out. That's already interesting enough. What something like Gems is doing is it's giving you a way to own into that. So Pinterest comes out, it IPOs for $7 billion or $10 billion or whatever it was. WhatsApp was bought by Facebook, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for $19 billion. The users of the app don't get to see any of that, which is unfortunate, right? So if you're on Facebook, it's just search for Gems, GEMS, and it's like a pink background and stuff. Normally, I'm not a big into pink kind of dude. It's not just pink. It's actually the design aesthetic of the Gems brand is attractive, I will say. I mean, for something that's pink, I dig it because it's got the faceted sort of diamond look in the logo. And I think there's a few things going on here. One, I think a lot of Bitcoin and a lot of technology leaves females behind in the marketing and also in the understanding of a woman's approach to solving a problem, whether it's communicating with a friend or whether it's notifying someone of an update or something. Men and women might communicate differently. So Gem seems to be a very gender neutral app, even though it is guised in that pink coating. I think when you get into the UI and I've talked to some of the founders of the team so far behind Gems, and when we see what they're trying to build, it is it's pretty cool. They're building a solid app. They have a solid team of core developers, and that app is going to okay. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if I'm back in yet, but there was a glitch there. Little dead air. Trying to come back here. I'm not worried about the lower third or anything like that. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, Gems. The way it works is these Gems things. There's going to be a lot of them. Over 1 billion. I think there's 1 billion to 10 billion. I think the community on the Bitcoin talk thread, they're still debating and they're still deciding exactly on the final quantities here. But there's going to be a lot of these tokens available called Gems, and it's not going to be very hard to come upon getting some of these gems. There's a few ways to do so. Daily airdrops of gems for anybody using the app. So if you pop into Gems, if you shoot a message to somebody on Gems, if you invite someone to Gems, if someone joins Gems through your invitation, those are all ways that you can get involved in a daily airdrop just by using the app. You can just send me a message on Gems, chat with me on it once it comes out. It's coming out in a few weeks. We can chat on there and we could all earn gems. And this is going to happen. Like, you guys have to look at how this is going to work. We all created a group for Crypto Talk. We call it Crypto VBN on Gems. And we all go in there and chat, and we're all getting rewarded with gems. And then the only way to market on Gems, here's the genius part. The only way to put an advertisement out there to someone on Gems is to pay using Gems. So you guarantee these tokens that the users are holding, you guarantee them to have value because advertisers need to buy those tokens in order to put an ad up on the site. So any which way you look at it, it's almost like the smartest way to build these little microeconomies is to create a need or to create a exchangeable value exchange at the end of the token. To have, let's say, cannabis coin is great, but if there's nowhere you can spend cannabis coin to buy cannabis related products, then it's not so great. And I'm not trying to knock cannabis coin. They actually are accepted in a lot of places, but it's just an example. The same can be said for Feather coins. That might be a better example. Or even Litecoin or Dogecoin. Might be great to play with those, but where can you use them? What's the point of them? Well, it's kind of speculation. It's kind of this, kind of that. Gems and projects like Gems that I will be probably highlighting in the months and years to come on this program are the actual where it becomes valuable for cryptocurrency. This technology is open sourced and it's visible to the community as to what's taking place, insofar as there's a blockchain, insofar as these tokens are identifiable on the Counterparty network. So holding Gems, you're guaranteed your share of the Gems project. If Gems goes to be the next Instagram, it's not going to be Wall Street investors, speculators, hedge fund managers, 9 or 10 young kids who hold up, and God bless them, but in a 2-bedroom house in Sunnyvale, California for the past 8 months, working on Flopify or whatever it's called. You know, this is a real example of how the economy may go in the future, to where little groups get together and build things. Developers, marketing teams, artists, designers, mostly developers, and it's pretty cool. To give you an example, if you think you missed out on Bitcoin, had you been paying attention, let's say instead of from 2009, but from 2012, and you said, shoot, I missed a lot of this run up, whatever. Even if you missed out on the run up from 100 to 1,000 that took place from this time last year to Christmas time last year, you know, you could have at that same time put 0.7 Bitcoin into NXT, in the crowdfunding for NXT. And right now that same amount would be worth about $1 million worth of Bitcoin. I didn't hit it big on anything yet like that. That doesn't make me discouraged. That makes me still hopeful. It makes me excited. And it's not about hitting it big. If you look at it about hitting it big, you probably won't, first of all, and you're missing the fun of it and you're missing the excitement of it. Really, the cool thing is you're talking about a technology that is the new .com. So in the early and late 90s, I was a young kid running around. I was interested in technology. I was playing Doom on my computer, and I was playing Sega Genesis, and I was interested in technology. I had one of the first cell phones that I could get as a kid. I think I was 16, whatever. But this is the new wave, cryptocurrency. And I know we're on a libertarian network or a voluntarism, voluntary virtues network, whatever. I'm an anarchist, so you don't have to worry about where my head's coming from. I believe in no centralized top-down authority at all. And I think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency serves that. I think that anybody who's studying this will see the same thing, that if you're looking to break out of the centralized top-down organization of control, of restricting access by restricting access as a means of creating security in a system or in a network, that is what we're trying to tear down. That's what we're trying to avoid. That's why I do 2 shows a week. I do this show to talk more about the technology of the infrastructure. Bitcoin is going, in my opinion, to be one of the main things that replaces the state. And I say Bitcoin, I use Bitcoin as shorthand for anything that's based on this new world of technology that Bitcoin has started, which really is the invention of the blockchain. The blockchain in and of itself, invented by Satoshi Nakamoto, and which was really an evolution of many projects and many ideas, from Hashcash to this one to that one. I wish I was a better Bitcoin historian that could name them all off, but I'm working on it. More tea, hold on. The invention of the blockchain is the innovation. It is the exciting part. So essentially, in the future, everything could be accountable. You can join a club that's like a government that you can invest a portion of your earnings in for shares of something, and it could go drastically better than what you expect. But what won't happen is it won't go better than you expect, and then at the same time, you not get credit. Whereas, if you're an early adopter of, let's say, Bank of America, you had a Bank of America account in 1994 or something before they merged and bought out this and bought out that, and whatever, and you stuck with them from then until now. Do you get $1 million bonus or something for, because if you really add up how many account holders there were in a bank or something like that early on, and then you look at how many there are today, and you look at how much money that bank makes today, and you look at how much room there is for corporate, and I'm not saying that this is unfair. I'm just saying this is a fact that there's a lot of room within these corporations for um, duplicity. So there could be multiple levels of executive managers, and they say, well, we're going to bring on 45 executives in 45 markets and see how they do. But there's no way to know that that's more efficient for the company than bringing on 35 executives in 35 markets. And instead of flooding the additional 10 markets, learning from your actions in the first 35 markets and then deploying maybe a revised strategy and chunking it up maybe into different pieces. And so there's a way to structure things differently. And I don't say that capitalism has failed. I say that without the accountability built in, with cryptocurrency, with the blockchain, the users of an app can become the investors, and the users and the investors will look at where the funds are going and how the organization is structured, and they'll say, hey, this isn't the most efficient way. What if we tried it this way? What if we, instead of doing 80 instances like this, we did 40 like A and 40 like B, and then we split each group into different subgroups and whatever. So there's a lot of ways to approach some of the challenges we face in society, whether they be monetary, whether they be technological, or what have you. And I think we're all going to start to see that cryptocurrency solves those problems better than the traditional systems. Just like the internet solves our problems better than a library, or better than writing on a wall or some tablets. This is the most efficient way to get our point across in the world. I used to not want to do YouTube videos because I thought it was a vain type of thing that people did to get attention and to feel important. And I started to understand it's not that. It's just another way to. It's just like posting something on Facebook. It's just like me posting on Facebook. Oh, glad Bitcoin's back up to 350, which as of right now it's actually almost at 360. It's 358.99, but it's not that. To be on YouTube and to do a show, which I encourage anyone who wants to, again, tweet me at CryptoVBN or find me on Facebook, Randall Parker Jr. I would be more than glad to. Help anybody get onto this network. I do want to say that there's a lot of high volume 15-minute chunks right now in the past 12 hours for Bitcoin. And usually when you see a high volume period of time, one way or the other, up or down, that's usually when you look at a trend reversal with any commodity or asset. So it's no surprise, but Bitcoin was down very low, and it's taking back those losses right now, and it's coming up almost as quickly as it came down from October 1st. So I think we might get close to 380, 390 if I had to guess before we see any resistance, but I think we'll get over that hurdle, and I think we'll probably land in the low fours. I think my guess is we'll see this thing go up to 400 to 410 in that range. So, and then hopefully up from there. But I'm saying these things do work on psychological and other type of market resistance levels. There's a lot of stuff going on with different types of patterns that you can find in charts, and I'll get into that in another program. But there's a lot of speculation around that as well, whether that's good for anything. What else do we have for you guys? I was glad I was able to speak about gems. I will talk about that more as well, because it is something that is a practical application of. I mean, imagine this real quick. This is the last thing I'll say on gems for today. Imagine the notion that 10,000 people were to sign up and use this application and start texting on it, which is free, and it's encrypted, by the way, which means no one except for you and the person receiving it should be able to read that message, unless some backdoor or something really weird. But encryption is tight. That's how encryption was breakable, then the government wouldn't be able to spy on other governments. So it's definitely solid. Now, imagine if 10,000 people join this thing. I'm just pulling a number out of thin air. I have no idea how many people are going to join it when. We don't know that yet. It's hard to say these things. But let's just say 10,000 people joined it in 2 months when it comes out, around Christmas time. And let's say fast forward 3 years, there's 1 million people or 10 million people using it. And it's valued at 100 billion. I'm not going to do all the math, but some of those 10,000 people that came in and they earned a few thousand gems or 50,000 gems or whatever it is, they might wake up in a 2017 where their gems are worth $4 each and they got them for 10 cents each, and that's their Bitcoin. Now gems is just a possibility to be another Bitcoin, just like Ethereum, just like NXT, just like I made a nice little ROI on a altcoin called Cloudcoin a few months back. So it is doable, guys, and I encourage y'all to get involved. It's still a little quiet. This show is a little quieter. I have a Friday program on the same network, on a Voluntary Virtues Network on YouTube, called Roads to Liberty. And on Roads to Liberty, it's usually me, and I try to bring on some guests, and we discuss voluntarist and somewhat anarcho-capitalist type of philosophical ideologies, and we discuss how our ideologies have developed, and we also contrast that in the light of current events as well. That is live on Fridays at 8 p.m. This program, if you're catching it not live, which most people do, we do have a live aspect to it, where if you watch the show Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, US, whatever, Eastern Standard Time, you can tweet along. You can tweet at us. You can hit me on Facebook. You can leave messages. Usually I'm watching the actual comment room, but it depends on how many viewers I think I have and what's going on that show. But so we talked about the price. We talked about gems. We talked about overstock. Oh, Reddit is doing something similar too. So Reddit just raised, I think, 15 million bucks in venture capital. This is a few days ago as well, and they decided to take, I believe, 10% of that money, 10% of the equity of Reddit, and the venture capitalists were in on this and down for this too. So this is cool. And Reddit is going to be creating a type of cryptocurrency or a token, probably on Counterparty, I think is the plan, to where anyone can get little percentages of Reddit and have shares of Reddit, but in a cryptocurrency. And that's going to be the new Reddit gold. That's going to be the new way to share kudos or to up something or vote up or vote down. It's all going to come down to really, instead of having jobs in the future, instead of having all the stress that we have of taxes and everything, we'll have the way to be effective in a multiplicity of ways. So maybe you have websites that operate using something called Friendly Coin, where you log in and you help someone listen to their problems, or you help someone walk them through something you know how to do, like knitting or playing guitar. Like you walk them through learning a song that you know, and they reward you in Friendly Coin. And you earn half of your income by just being friendly or something, and then you can have, you just think about it, there could be editor coin where, you log in to just this website and you read scripts and you read documents and you commit little changes to it. Say, hey, this is spelled wrong, or this would be better worded this way. And if the author accepts your change, you know, you can get a little reward. In fact, that's a great one. I'm going to write that down. Someone could take it, but you should call me too, because I'd like to help with that. Editor coin. A lot of ideas happening, and right now this is the new .com bubble. So if you're young, if you're inspired, if you want to maybe make a few bucks, if you want to change your life, it wouldn't be a crazy way to go about it. Trying to learn about crypto, trying to maybe watch this program, tell your friends about this program, try to communicate with me. I'd love to have anybody on here that wants to ask questions, that wants to tell me about their project. We don't have the audience size yet to be demanding of any kind of like real marketing budget. We've had a couple sponsors. We have Proz, which is our lifelong sponsor. They gave us some of the seed resources we needed to get some of our early guests and get this program started and build out the format. And they are there with us as partners now moving forward in a lot of ways. But your project, your crypto idea can be featured here, and I would love to help you, maybe even join you in building something if you have something interesting that as an entrepreneur, I always have a potential for being able to take some time out of what I'm doing to start something that might be the next thing I'm excited about. So I encourage anybody to reach out to me in that regard. Let's take a quick little peek on maybe some Reddit and Twitter and see what's going on in terms of Bitcoin news. It's really pushing that 360 mark right now, guys. It's 359.80 on the price, and that is the 24-hour high pretty much. So it's pushing up. The volume is still there. It's tapering off a little bit. Reuters is reporting Venezuelans turn to Bitcoins to bypass socialist currency control. That's interesting. Feds hacked Silk Road without a warrant. Perfectly legal, said the prosecutors. Of course, right. Well, feds do what they want. The government does what they want. They don't need a warrant. No big deal. Andreas Antonopoulos spoke in front of the Canadian Senate in the past couple of days. That is something I want to go see. I'm going to make a note for myself to do so. Try not to break up the flow too much with that. AA, not the club. Anton speech. Canada. Parliament, Senate. I don't really care what people say to politicians, but Andreas Antonopoulos is a genius, and he's not afraid to say what he wants to say. And if he's going in front of any kind of politician and speaking his mind, it could be interesting. So these are all on the top of Reddit right now, so I'm just kind of reading that for you guys. I'm skipping over the ones that are too long or not interesting. Someone posts, how were there only 27 votes for accepting Bitcoin on Alibaba's user suggestion page? Step it up, guys. Here's the thing I would like to say about that too. We have a little bit more time. On the one hand, it's good. I feel like I'm saying the wrong thing here, but on the one hand, it's obviously good to get something like an Alibaba who's valued at $20 billion, or Facebook, or this one now, to accept Bitcoin. But if the demand isn't really there, wouldn't that merchant or wouldn't that retailer eventually say this was only a PR stunt for Bitcoin? Like, this didn't help us. There is an extent to which sometimes riding the Bitcoin hype can be a good PR stunt for a company. But I think that shit might be setting sail now. Bitcoin, with its price drop recently and the slow tumble this year in price. I mean, I thought Bitcoin was going to go to 2,000 or 3,000 a coin by now. I did not, in my wildest. I mean, I had a hard time this long ago imagining it going down. I still am very long-term positive on Bitcoin, but so I don't know that getting Alibaba to take Bitcoin, if there's only 27 votes, that means there's only 27 votes. That if a lot of people using Alibaba wanted to pay in Bitcoin, there'd be more votes. Bitcoin just isn't there yet. So getting acceptance isn't the problem, in my opinion. In my view, I think the problem is getting individuals to see the value in holding a currency like Bitcoin versus holding dollars. That's what I would love to talk about. I get it. There's no really easy way to explain it, but I would love to answer questions at CryptoBBM. If someone wants to shoot me a tweet, or if anybody wants to come on this program and talk to me or ask me a question, I don't mind. I'd love to do that. But the thing I want people to start to realize is this is going to be something that helps set us free, helps liberate us, helps empower us to be on the receiving end of some of these windfalls where, you know, hey man, I started using Facebook in 2004. If there was a Facebook coin that they gave you one a day of for logging into Facebook, and now, or let's say they gave you 10 a day, now they gave you one. If I was doing that every day in 2004, those coins could be worth 10, you know, whatever. You could be ahead of the game. People have made a lot of money. People have made $1 million on Next, investing something like 1,000. This is just this year. So I encourage y'all to stay aware of this stuff, to join the conversation, to reach out to me. I'm not going to keep blabbing on. Today is 8th. We'll be back next week, October 15th, to see where the price goes. I predict it goes closer to 400. And to see where we get with GEMS, if we get an actual release date for the ICO, for the funding, and for the apps, and what other interesting projects and things come our way. So stay tuned, guys. Check out more of the shows on Voluntary Virtues Network, and I'll peace out right here. Later, guys.